relationship, and, you know, we were all sort of given the story of Edward who gave up everything for her. Telling it more from her point of view and, you know, giving us some insight into what she gave up, is that something that evolved during the research, or were you always kind of more interested?
I think I was drawn into the story by first trying to understand why a person in such a powerful position would give up something like that for love. It seemed like such a huge sacrifice, and in a way, you know, to me, I thought it was incredibly brave because men are power-seeking creatures by nature, and most of them are fighting their way to the throne. So the idea that someone would give up this perceived power of position for love was fascinating to me. So I was trying to uncover what I perceived to be this great romance, and in the uncovering of the story, I saw a whole other point of view. I saw what she went through. I saw how she ran away from it. I saw how she saw the writing on the wall and knew that it was all going to go tits up. Excuse my French. So you know, it was, to me, you know, when Wally goes to Al-Fayed's office and says, I think it's important to tell the story from her point of view, that was really the conclusion I came to at the end of all my research.
And at what point did you decide to integrate in the more modern story, the story of Wally?
Well, I think it's important to understand and accept that truth is subjective, and, you know, we all can read stories and do as much research as we want on a person, but how we interpret the story and what we take away from it is always going to be different than somebody else. So it was important. I never set out to make the quintessential, you know, historical biopic of you know, the abdication of Edward VIII, or, you know, the true story about what lies behind the romance of Wallace and Edward. I thought it was important to give the story a point of view, and to make, you know, remind the audience that this is the story seen through the eyes of a young woman who's searching for love and the meaning of happiness. So.
And you co-wrote the script with Alec Kashishian, who you've worked with before. Can you tell us a little bit, in kind of practical terms, how that process worked? Did you pass drafts between each other, or you literally wrote together? How did you do that?
We sat in a room and threatened each other if we didn't get off of our Blackberries. First of all, I had to hide his more than he had to hide mine. And I mean, it's really simple. We had the script up on the big screen, and we just passed it back and